Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pav Bamber here for PSB Sports, and with me today, making his debut on my channel, got a very special guest, World Championship contender, middleweight boxer, Mr. Spike O'Sullivan. Spike, thank you so much for talking to PSB Sports. How are you doing, my friend?
Great, Pav, you?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Very good. Thanks for giving the time out to chat to me, and hopefully we can have a good chat on some few stuff, Spike.
Cool, yeah, looking forward to it, Pav.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Right, let's get stuck into it then straight away, Spike. So, Spike, as you're aware, last week on a MGM show in Dublin, there was some, horrific scenes. Someone was unfortunately shot, and obviously other people were injured. Just give us your thoughts on what happened.
Well, I wasn't there. There was a few of my gym mates were there.
Sure.
It was very unfortunate and very sad to see. Not a very nice thing to happen, and it's pretty upsetting. And just not much to be said. I suppose it's bad, very bad.
Absolutely, and fingers crossed. Everyone who was injured is better now. Hope, and obviously, my heart goes out to all the families that were affected.
Of course.
So Spike, in the past week or so, there's been a pretty big fight made, hasn't there, in your weight division? It hasn't actually been at 160. It's been a catchweight fight between Amir Khan and Saul Canelo Alvarez for the WBC middleweight championship of the world. It's like I said, it's not at 160. It's at 155. Spike, what was your reaction when you heard about this fight, Khan and Canelo?
Well, firstly, I don't really agree with the catchweights. I'm not a fan of it, but I think it's a good fight. They're two very big names in our sport, and I think it's good that they're fighting. I think Canelo will probably win the fight. I think if I had to put money on it, but I think Amir Khan has got good hand speed, and if he can move a lot, and it's not impossible that he could win as well.
Sure. I mean, I think as soon as the fight was announced, a lot of people were saying, like mainly the fans in the UK were saying, it's a shame we can't see Brooke Khan at Wembley. How much of a fan are you of seeing that fight? Or as a fan on the outside, were you hoping to see Brooke Khan at welterweight at Wembley in June, Spike?
They're both fights I'd like to see. I would like to see the Brooke Khan fight as well, because there's a bit of bad blood there and it's been brewing up for a long time, and I probably would like to see that one a bit more rather than Khan moving up to middleweight and get a shot at the world title immediately.
Right.
A bit unfair on some middleweights out there.
Sure, and obviously you've said, you aren't a fan of the catchweight, and I think that was one of the main issues, wasn't it? In the sense that fighting for a 160-pound title at 155 pounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of it now. I think you're either a middleweight or you're a junior middleweight, one or the other, and I think if you're fighting at a particular weight division, the maximum weight you be allowed to weigh in at that weight, 160. It's a 160 title, so that's be allowed fight at 160.
Sure, and obviously, as I said, people were hoping for Brooke Khan. When the fight was immediately announced, many people said that Khan was the underdog. He's an underdog with the bookies as well. You've mentioned there about his speed and stuff. So, what are some of the attributes do you believe Khan has, or what do you think some of the stuff Khan has to do in order to beat Canelo on the night?
I think Canelo is going to be stronger for sure.
Yeah,
he's come into the ring a lot heavier than Khan, I think, and I think Khan will need to use his speed. I think Canelo's quite quick too, but I think Khan will have the speed advantage. I think he's got to get on his bike, move a lot, non-stop for 12 rounds. I think if Canelo goes him down and catches him like Garcia did, I think it's going to be lights out for Khan. He'll be doing a little dance. And maybe having a little snooze as well.
Fair enough. So Spike, your last fight was on December the 12th. You fought at the O2 Arena against Chris Eubank Jr. Unfortunately, you had to be pulled out by your corner due to your eardrum being burst. First of all, Spike, how was your health in regards to your eardrum, and is your injury better now, or are there still stuff you have to do for it to get fully better?
Well, I feel fine now. It took quite a while for it to heal up, actually. It was quite bad, but I feel fine now. But I'm with the consultant on the 22nd of February. I got to meet him and see what he says. I think the boxing union of Ireland wanted me to have an operation before I fight again, because my only 2 defeats, I got my eardrum busted in both those fights.
Sure.
Both the second round as well, and so I need to address for sure.
Okay, and fingers crossed. After you see the consultant, would you say in around 2 months or so it will be fully healed?
I would hope so. Yeah, I think it's a simple enough procedure. The operation, it's just like a laser treatment. They actually put an extra layer of skin on your eardrum just to strengthen where the scarring is. I think it should heal pretty quickly.
When you look back on that fight against Eubank Jr., what do you believe were the main reasons for your loss? Was it due to the fact that your ear was just hurting so much? Was your balance off because of your ear? Or was he better than you thought he was? What do you think were the main reasons for your loss that night, Spike?
I actually don't think he was better. I expected him to be better than he was, to be honest with you. Telling you the truth, the first round day I felt very comfortable. Back to I wobbled him with about 24-25 seconds to go in the first round, and I felt like it was going to be an easy night from there. Second round, he got me in the ear, plus my eardrum. My balance started to deteriorate. It was quite painful, but it wasn't the first time it happened. But as you go on, your balance deteriorates and gets worse. And
I can imagine. I
tried to take him out in the third round, unsuccessfully. He's a tough guy. I give him that. He can take a punch.
Sure.
I never caught him cleanly on the chin, but that's my problem. But my balance wasn't the greatest. But and it just got worse and worse, and my balance got worse and worse. And Pascal asked me, he wanted me to kind of pull out after the 4th round. I didn't want to. I asked him for one more round and so on, and I asked him for another round and another round, and eventually he just told me that's enough. In the 7th, you're not going back over, or the 8th, I think I was going to be going into, and that's it. So disappointing for me, but look, sure, I'll be back.
Of course, Spike. I mean, you don't have to give too much away in the next question I'm about to ask you, because I assume you might be looking for a rematch in the future. So, having said that, going into the fight, Spike, what was the game plan, or what were some of the things you were looking at to upset Eubank Jr. in the ring?
I think I caught him several times. I just never caught him cleanly enough to take him out. But he was tough as well, I would like a rematch, but I don't. As you said yourself in the question, I don't want to give away too much, because I would like a rematch for sure.
Absolutely understandable. Fair enough, Spike. Fair enough. And speaking of which, at times, Spike, in the fight, it looked like a real slugfest. From round 1, I think, to about to literally the whole fight. At times, you guys were seriously trading in some serious leather in there. It looks like both of you. In fact, it looked like you hurt Eubank and Eubank was hurting you. It looked like a real slugfest at times. For someone who as yourself, you haven't fought at the O2 arena before, but what was it like, Spike, being in the atmosphere under the bright lights on a Sky Sports box office card? How was that like for you? How was the experience for you, Spike?
Actually, Pat, I'd have to correct you. My very first fight in the UK was actually in the O2.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. It was actually on the undercard of James DeGale and George Groves, but it was only, I think it was actually a swing bout, so people didn't have the interest, and I wasn't under the spotlight so much as I was the last time.
Sure.
The last time the atmosphere was amazing. The fans were great, great atmosphere, and Eubank's fans as well. They were great as well. They created a great buzz there, and it was great to be part of it.
Sure, and absolutely. In the fight itself, Spike, do you feel like you hurt Eubank a fair amount? And at times, did you feel like he was there for the taking? Yeah,
I definitely wobbled him on a few occasions. I caught him, but as I say, credit to him. He's a tough guy. He was just being joined here by my daughter. She's
sure
always interrupting me.
Sure. Hi there, hello.
Thanks for bed for you, little monkey. I'm going to bed now. Watch telly. I've been to the man. I've been in a few minutes, love. Okay.
Okay, yep. So we're back here, guys, with Spike O'Sullivan. So, Spike, as I was saying, the fight you win with Eubank Jr. didn't seem like a slugfest at times. You guys were really going at it, trading some leather. Did you feel like you hurt him quite badly in the ring, and do you feel like he was there for the taking as well, Spike?
Well, definitely, I hurt him, and he wobbled a few times, and I'm sure that I wouldn't like you making excuses or anything like that. He got out of the way, and that's my fault for not capitalising on it. And, I'd like a rematch, but he bust my eardrum and beat it punch. That's what happens in boxing, I suppose, and misfortune for me. But I think if I had a rematch, I'd be very confident I could beat him.
Absolutely, and in fact, what's your opinion on his next fight against Nick Blackwell? Because there's been a lot of thought about this, because you guys were going to fight the winner of Jacobs and Quillin, which was Jacobs, and he was mandatory now for Jacobs' WBA title, but he's surpassed that, and he's going to fight Nick Blackwell instead. So what do you make of that, Spike?
Not sure quite what to make of it. If I had won the fight, I certainly would have fought Jacobs. I would have loved the opportunity to fight for the world title, and
sure,
wouldn't have passed it up. I think he's looking at Nick Blackwell as an easier opposition, obviously, but I'm not sure about that. I think Nick Blackwell's a good fighter, and I wouldn't be one bit surprised to see him beating Eubank.
I think actually Nick Blackwell, in my opinion, is a very underrated fighter, and I think that fight is going to be harder for Eubank than what people think it is actually.
Oh, definitely, without doubt. I think I'm actually going to have a bet on Nick Blackwell, put a few quid in him. In
fact, I think he was the underdog when he fought John Ryder as well, wasn't he? And he beat him pretty well.
He knocked him, I think. Stopped him anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see that fight myself. I think it was away, and I didn't see the fight with Ryder, but he got TKO over him. He's a good fighter as well, John Ryder, so
yeah.
But there's no mug.
Exactly. Now, one thing I have to ask you about this: the kiss, Spike, the kiss at the weigh-in. Literally, when I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, Spike is going for it here, man!" Like, so basically, Spike, what was your thinking behind that? Were you trying to unsettle him, get under his skin? Was it because he told you specifically the reason why he wasn't going to do a face-off was because you kissed your last opponent? What was your thinking behind that? Because it was awesome, man.
It's funny, alright. I didn't know. He threatened me. He said, the only reason I kissed the first bloke anyway, Anthony Fitzgerald, was because he put his head in me and pushed me. And I decided it was close to the fight. My instinct was to punch him, but I decided if I punched him, he might put out of the fight then, or injured in the fight. So I said I'd give him a kiss, and just kind of insult him. The one with Eubank, he threatened me. The gloves are off. He was like, if you kiss me, be the last person you ever kiss, something like that. So I was like, yeah, right, and I gave him a kiss just to annoy him, really, basically, just because I don't know, it was going to intimidate me, or I'm not sure, but I was like, I wasn't going to back down from him, so I thought I'd give him a kiss because he threatened me not to give him a kiss.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got to ask you about this as well. What do you make of Chris Eubank Sr.? I mean, Eddie Hearn was promoting the card, the fight. When you guys were having the face-off, he seemed to be in the middle instead of Eddie Hearn. He called you short when you guys had the face-to-face at the press conference. What did you make of his whole involvement in those 2 days, if any?
Well, I actually, believe it or not, I like Chris Eubank Sr.
Sure.
I respect for him. He was a very good fighter himself, and I think he's an intelligent guy. And
absolutely.
I think that Eubanks are good for boxing, you got to give them that, they bring the crowds, the people, the public interest is there, they bring the razzmatazz, and, they're good for boxing, even though I'm not a fan of Chris Eubank Jr. personality. I wouldn't like him too much, but I like the father. I think he's a good character.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, even though he might not be liked by many, he certainly brings some personality and some sort of fun when he's around in press conferences and stuff like that. And obviously, he's achieved a hell of a lot in the game, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he was unbeaten for like 10 years before Steve Collins beat him. And I don't know how many world title defences he had. It was a crazy amount anyway. He was great entertainment watching him. I was a big fan of his watching him as a young fella growing up. It's simply the best, and the Harley Davidsons and all that coming to the ring. I really enjoyed watching him when I was growing up. Absolutely.
But head up, Spike. Anyway, you've done more so far. Obviously, hopefully, your A gets better. And fingers crossed, Spike. I'm sure there's many fans out here of Spike O'Sullivan listening to this interview. When can the Sullivan fans, and the rest of the boxing world expect to see you out next, Spike?
I'd like to be back at the end of April, ideally. That's what I love that. There's a big show in Belfast, I think, on the April 30th. There's talk me fighting Eamon O'Kane, and
okay.
I think that'd be a good fight stylistically, and he's another good fighter and warrior, and a nice guy. And I'd like to fight him on that card. There's Belfast is a great fighting city. There's a great atmosphere there, and
absolutely.
There's not many better places to fight. I've been up at a few Carl Frampton fights, and the atmosphere is just absolutely amazing. Really, really good. And I'd like to fight there next April 30th if possible.
So has that been spoken about, you fighting Eamon O'Kane on April the 30th?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of talks, a bit of work going on behind the scenes, and possibly that may happen. Yeah.
Okay, and are there other names in the mix as well?
Are there other names in the mix? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Are there people in the mix as well?
Well, I have gloves. I will travel. I'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Sure.
I think he's been the one that's been suggested lately, but I haven't heard talk of other names lately. But I'm open to fights.
Sounds good. Spike, your very good friend Billy Joe Saunders, December 19th defeated Andy Lee to win the WBO middleweight championship of the world. Did you see that fight? And if so, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was a week after my own fight. I was with all the Celtic Warriors. We were having our Christmas party in Dublin.
Yeah.
And we all on the big screen. What I make of it, we've seen a different kind of Billy Joe Saunders that night. A little bit different, and he shows that he's got power as well, and he's got it all. Billy Joe, he's a very good boxer. He's got power, speed, movement. You name it.
Yeah.
He's a guy. Doesn't matter what style he fights against, he always seems to find a way to win, and he's a very, very good fighter.
You've said you want to have a rematch with Eubank. Your only other loss in your career was against Billy Joe Saunders. Would you like to have a rematch with him in the future as well?
I would, of course. Yeah, it'd be nice to try and avenge my feats. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, I'd like to fight him again. And
also, Spike. In fact, prior to the Lee Saunders fight, many people were saying that who thought Andy Lee would win, that would be Andy Lee's power that won in the fight. But instead, it was Billy Joe who knocked him down twice, and his slick boxing ability, which allowed him to rack up the early rounds, helped him down the stretch, didn't it, essentially?
Well, he's got a good chin as well, but he doesn't get hit too often. You got to hit him to knock him out. And Billy Joe's, as I know myself, I've done a lot of sparring with him and fought him, and he's a very hard man to hit. Yeah,
I mean, not just that, as a boxer, he's such a slick boxer, isn't he, as well?
Oh, very slick. Oh, God, sorry, Pat, there she is back again.
Now, so Spike, after Billy Joe won the world title against Andy Lee, there are all these names being thrown about as to who Billy Joe will fight in his first defence. Will it be the rematch against Eubank? Will he fight someone in Frank Warren's own stable? Blah, blah, blah. And then a guy called Gennady Golovkin, one of the best pound fighters in the world, came up and said he wanted to fight and challenge Billy Joe Saunders. Now, Billy Joe's received a lot of stick for kind of saying, I don't know if I'd take Golovkin now. I'd fight him if the package was right. But, I think he's rejected some money and so on and so forth. There's been talks about it. But we're not sure if that fight's going to happen. Do you think that the stick towards Billy Joe in regards to him not essentially taking Golovkin yet is justified and fair?
No, I think Billy Joe Saunders would fight him, no problem.
Yeah.
He said he'd be in England, and if the money was right, and I don't think he's ducking him at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, exactly. I mean, personally, for me, in terms of his first defence of his world title, I think, I know fighters would fight anybody, but to fight a beast like Golovkin, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to fight him in your first defence, that's fine. Even I thought myself, I think the stick towards him was slightly unjustified. I mean, the guy just won his world title and people were jumping down his throat telling him to fight Golovkin, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Brief over that, I don't think he'd duck anyone, Billy Joe Saunders. I know him, and he's a fighting man, and he would fight him, no problem. If the money was right, he said he'd like to fight him in England, and I think I seen a tweet there recently as well that he said that to Golovkin that he'd like to fight him in England, and I think he's getting definitely unfair grief for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in terms of your middleweight, 160-pound fighters, all of them, if you had to choose or pick, if you could control everything as if Spike O'Sullivan could, and you had one world title shot now. Someone said to you, Spike, you could have one world title shot now. Which champion would you choose to face and why?
I'd like to fight Golovkin because stylistically I like a fighter that fights like that, coming forward and throwing big shots and in your face. I like that. And plus he's regarded as the number one, and it's my dream to be regarded as the number one, and so I definitely pick him.
Sounds good, Spike. Sounds good, Spike. I want to say we've been chatting for nearly half an hour now, and listen, Spike, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me your time. I really appreciate it. And guys, check out Spike O'Sullivan on Twitter. Do like and subscribe to my channel as well. And Spike, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure, in the future. Absolutely,
Spike. Sounds good. This has been Pat Bammer of PSP Sports. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Do like and subscribe. Thank you.